and up on what should be the last little section here that I've already sketched in, so it's not such a tedious task. I'm just going to shade in after I got my high-res reference image here. Here's the full kit and caboodle. I also got my low-res here. And again, I like to have both because, you know, in my drawing, I can only achieve so much detail, so I kind of strive for as much as I can get, but then having a little reality check of what this kind of crappy printout can show me brings me back down to planet Earth. So let's get to it. I got it mapped in here. Do a little adjustment. Okay. There we go. Camera's right in my face. Hold on one second, please. Oopsies. Okay, let's see if I can manage that. Get this to cover my paper. And here we go. So I'm going to start out with my 2B pencil now that I got it mapped in. And just start shading in things really small. I'll probably work between my 2B here and my HB pencil. Okay, where am I going here? So these are just little rock walls that I'm following up here. I'm just following my outline. Was that you who logged on there? Was that you who logged on there? Probably. Okay. Did you get any ads served to you?
Yeah.
So just being nice and slow. At the bottom here, the rocks have a little more shadow, and then I come up, I'm lightening my pressure a little bit. Which that doesn't always translate on the video. I'm just recording on my phone here, which isn't the best video quality, but it's what I got right now, so. Okay. Boy, it's really a lot easier now that I outlined it ahead of the live. Wow, good art. Thanks. Let me. I'll show the wide shot here. Here's the full drawing here. This is Mount Rainier at Mount Rainier National Park. Just finishing off this tiny last section here. And then I'm not going to draw trees for a while. Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun to work on, but I'm definitely ready for my next project, which I got a few ideas of what I want to draw next. I'll paint next, actually, I should say. So I'm just doing little dots here. I'm trying to, you know, have a little bit of variety in my values, because this is obviously rocky mountainside here. I'm just being as subtle as I can here. Beautiful, thank you. Thanks for the kind words, everybody. I'm not sure if people just came on. If somebody wants to see the wide shot again, just let me know. I'll take the camera off the tripod here. Tricky part is I'm working really small here, and getting the contrast between the shadows and then these darker rocks is one of the harder parts here. So just doing little dots and dashes kind of adds variety to create that texture of the rock. And I don't mind if I leave something not fully shaded in, because again, the light hitting the rock creates all those different faces on the rock, creates that illusion even at this really small scale here. This is a 2B pencil that I'm just varying up the pressure so I can kind of work as many values as I can out of it. "20 people. Let me go back out here. And if you weren't at the beginning, I do have my reference image up here, and then I got this kind of low quality printout that I hold right next to my paper. Okay. So I'm looking at my reference image. The mountainside here is kind of going diagonal left, from the bottom left to upper right. So I'm trying to make my marks mostly in that direction too, just in case if some of them are visible, it continues that illusion of the mountainside going up in that direction. Just small little details like that to keep everything kind of in line. And as I mentioned, varying the value to get all those little different shapes of our rocks further creates the direction and slope of this part of the mountain. But this is all going to be, all this is in shadow here, so there's going to be another layer over the top of it. But these are some darker rocks that are showing up here. And here is part of the mountain which will reveal itself as I keep going. This rolls up and over going this way, and then it's going to continue off of our drawing on the left here, or on the right here. So now I'm just going in that direction to show that direction of this little ridge line coming up. So this is where the mat, obviously this is where the drawing's gonna be matted. So I don't really need super clean edges here. It's just gonna be covered up, but still just wanna make sure I continue my drawing off the page and not get lazy. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, so here, the rocks are kind of going in this direction, or the slope of this part. So see all these little dashes I have? These are little slabs of rock, and just this little hint of where it's kind of going up in this direction, the rocks. The slope, like here's the drop off of a cliff, but then the cliff line also travels this way. Anyways, I'm just trying to point out there's these little directional lines that you're going to have all throughout, and you want to make sure you're paying attention when you're working off a reference image of just all these little details. Again, that's where my mat's going to be, so I'm just going to leave that. Call that good. Just like to take a break and pop out every once in a while, rest my hand, rest my eyeballs. Not too shabby. Okay, and I'm going to do this little section down here, and then we'll shade in a lot of this, because you can see this is all these little darker shadows or rocks I just drew in. Now I'm going to add this sort of slope of these rocks coming down, and I'm going to shade it in right there. And again, if you saw in the reference image, these rocks are going down in this direction. So that's the direction I'm going to make all my lines here. Just as there's little variations in the value, people might be able to pick up some of those little details. And again, I don't mind variations in the value, because think of that as just like little bits of those rocks getting different amounts of light. And the reason it's kind of random is because I can't draw this small. So I'm just sort of letting it happen naturally with my pencil. I should say I can't draw rocks that small because I can't even really see what I'm doing. Hi, I'm from Russia, bro. It's amazing. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the kind words. There's a little bit more of it, but I'm not sure when you jumped on. I like to show the wide shot often because I don't know when people come and go a lot, because it's not the most exciting process to watch. But thank you for the kind words, of course. Oh dang, you're almost done. I haven't been on here in a while. Looks great. Yeah, good to see you. I followed you a while back. Play Now, Work Later. It looked like you went on a long trip somewhere. But yeah, still working on this beast. I'm on the last little section here. But good to see you're back. And soon I'll be doing lives with other drawings. Finally, I will be. Okay, let's just tidy this little edge up here. What's happening with this piece when you're done? I'm just gonna hang it on the wall at home. For the amount of hours I spent on it, I don't think anybody's willing to pay me the amount of dough I would ask for it. So the plan was always just to hang it on the wall at home, get it framed. I've wondered about getting it scanned and doing prints of it, but I'm not sure on that yet. Okay, let's get into some of the shading here. I forgot what I did over there. I'm going to start with this. This is just a 2B pencil. That's too thick. I'm going to start with this This is back to an HB. I like to just wear the lead down over here so it's not as sharp. And we'll just go in here. This is where it gets a little tricky because, again, there's not a ton of contrast between the rock on the shadow and the shadow. But of course I don't want to also just lose all that shading I just did. Might have to go back over some of it. And these little shadows, you can see slight little sort of snow cresting up and over little bits and ridges, casting little shadows. I'm trying to work some of those in. And that's again where you can see my lines are going left to right, diagonally down here. Similar to what I was talking about on these rocks down here. You can see it a little bit over here where it's like the same, where it's going diagonal in this direction. It looks down here, flattens out to a little valley or something. let's see. Is it finished? Just about. Got a little tidying to do in this little section. And then I'm sure I'll finesse a little bit off camera. But I'm still working on these. Not quite happy with these little shadows yet. This is a 4H pencil. I just moved down a little bit. That way I'm not gonna cover up that initial work that I did as much. And if I need to go darker, I can after. Thank you, Bold Cotton Knitting. Going back over some of those shadows again, or the rocks, kind of lost them here. Once I added in those shadows. This is one of the tough things when it's not like a real strong contrast between these shadows and rocks, so it makes it tough. Because I want the detail. Even if people can't really see it, I need the detail. Let's see. Okay, no, I think I need to move my camera to do a little tidying up there, which is going to be easier to do off camera, but I think that might about do it for this drawing. After, let's see, 6, 12, 17 months. 17 months, but there was a good like 4 or 5 months in the middle there where I wasn't working on it. But I'm gonna do a little finessing on that little section, and then it'll be done, and I'll share it with you all when I get back to it, when it's completed. Thanks for watching. See you next time.